guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Olivia. So today what I would like to cover is the stretches and range of motion that I do every day. And I usually do them on my bed, so either do it in the morning when I wake up or in the evening before going to bed. And with every single stretch as well, like I'll always do them 3 times and hold them for about 30 to 45 seconds and then do them on both sides. So prior to my injury, I was also a registered massage therapist, so I have a pretty good understanding of the body and certain muscles and positions that it can go into. And also with a spinal cord injury, because of being immobile in some of our lower limbs, it's important to make sure to have that range of motion and the opposite actions that we're always into to prevent muscle shortening and whatnot. Okay, so let's get started. So the first stretch that we're going to do is a hip flexor stretch. So with a spinal cord injury, because we're wheelchair bound all the time and always in a sitting position, the muscles that end up pressing the hip into the core can get quite tight from always being in that position. So it's important to do a reverse action to kind of stretch those muscles out. So in order to do that, we're going to have to get into your tummy, and then we'll kind of go from there. So the first thing that I'm going to do is cross the opposite leg from this side. I'm going to be rolling over onto, and then flip him over. So I'm on my tummy here. Then I'm going to be going down and putting my my hand, sorry, a little bit of spasms there, putting my hand at my chest kind of area. So coming down here and then putting my hands where my chest, at my chest level, and then pulling up, staring at the wall in front of me. And then definitely it's always tight when I do this, but and then you would be holding that for 30 seconds and then going down, taking a bit of a rest, and then again heading back up and holding it for another 30. Make sure that you breathe through it as well. And then again going down and taking a rest. Okay, so once you've done, you would be doing that 3 times, and once you've done that, then I would go into doing more of my leg stretches. Okay, so my next stretch is going to be kind of like a hip range of motion plus a hip and glute kind of stretch. So what I'm going to do is going to be lying on my back, and I'll grab my knee to bring towards my chest. So I'll put my hand underneath my knee here, bend my knee towards me, and then start to lean back. Okay, once I've leaned back, so the goal is to bring the knee towards the chest and then kind of like beside you. And again, you're going to be stretching your glute kind of area. You're going to be stretching in here and also adding some range of motion into the hip. So I'll bring my forearm onto my knee and bring my knee towards me, and then grab the other hand and kind of push my knee towards me and beside me to get a nice stretch in my hip there. So again, all this depends on your flexibility. Like for me, I'm pretty flexible, and I've been doing those stretches for a while. So I have maybe more range of motion than some people do. So yeah, so you'd be holding that for about 30 seconds and then letting it go, take a rest, and then go back and hold it for 30 seconds. And do that 3 times, and then once it's done, you move on to the other side. So again, going underneath the knee, bringing the knee towards you and leaning back. And this side's a little bit tighter. Then bringing my forearm onto my knee and bringing the knee towards me. And then bringing the other hand to do the same thing. So I'm pushing my knee towards me and beside me here. And again, I don't know if you have any feeling or anything like that, but if you do, like, you should be feeling the stretch, like a little bit of a pull inside the glutes. And holding it for about 30 seconds and then letting go, taking a rest and coming back up. Okay, so my next one is going to be a hip opener stretch. So I've demonstrated that one a little bit with my putting on shoes video. But basically what you do is I'll bring my hand underneath my knee here and then bring my ankle on my thigh just above the knee. And then with this hand, I'll wedge the hand on top of my ankle to prevent my ankle from sliding back and forth. And then with the other elbow, I'll kind of lean onto my knee to kind of open up and stretch that hip. And with that, I tend to pulse, like I tend to lean back and forth to kind of add a little bit of a stretch inside the hip. And also with any of those stretches, if you feel like there's too much of a resistance, like don't force anything. Or if your body goes into crazy spasms with certain things, or however like your body kind of feels the pain, then don't force it. Like just back off from that and maybe pick something else that you think would kind of work. But yeah, it's just your body's way of telling you that maybe there's some pain or maybe it's not comfortable doing something like that. So make sure that you kind of try to listen to what your body's telling you. It's really hard without having that pain kind of sensory type of thing that we usually have when we're able-bodied. So yeah, holding, and again with this stretch, so you would be holding it for 30 seconds, then taking a break, and then going back into it, holding it for 30 to 45 seconds, whatever you feel would be better, but at least 30 seconds is normally good to increase the plasticity and stuff. And then once you've done it on one side 3 times, you go on to the other side and do it. And again, same thing, bringing your hand underneath your knee to bring your ankle on top of your thigh, just in front of the knee. Wedging your hand on top of the ankle here, and then slowly leaning on the inside of the knee. And another thing that I like to do when I'm here, just like kind of like pulsating and stuff too, but is also straighten the back out a little bit. So instead of slouching down, just like straightening the back to straighten the spine. And then holding that for about 30, letting it go, going back into it for 30, doing it 3 times, and then moving on to the next stretch. So my next one is actually going to be an ankle kind of stretch. So for me, I find I do get a lot of spasms with my feet pointing down towards the floor. So my Achilles tendon in the back here get quite tight. So I do this stretch kind of 2 ways. I normally actually don't do it this way. I do it another way, and I'll show you guys that after. But it's basically bringing the ankle towards your knee to kind of to give a stretch to the Achilles tendon that's behind here. So to do that, I'll wedge my arm just behind the knee to prevent the knee from sliding this way. And then I'll bring my hand towards the ball of my foot and then push basically like my hand towards, like bring my hands kind of together, pushing my hand towards my knee to kind of give the ankle a little bit of an upward stretch. So giving the Achilles tendon, the back of your calves, a stretch. So it's like bringing the two arms together kind of, because you're resisting with the knee on this side, with your hand on this side, you're resisting the knee on this side, and then you pushing with your hand on the other side. This is actually a good exercise for getting your biceps curls going too. So again, kind of holding that for 30 seconds and then going back into it and letting go, holding it for 30 seconds, going back into it, and then doing it again 3 times on each side. So the opposite side. And normally I would do like, you know, you do your ankle stretch and you hip opener stretch on the same side first, and then go to the other side and do them together, so you don't have to switch back and forth all the time. But again, just bringing my hand behind my knee here to prevent the knee from sliding this way, and then grabbing the ball of my foot and pushing my 2 arms together. To give the ankle, the back of the calf, a bit of a stretch. And yeah, holding it for 30 seconds, which is not 30 seconds. I'm not holding the stretches for 30 seconds, but, and then again, doing it 3 times, and then moving on to the next stretch. So the next stretch that I'm going to do, which is kind of the same stretch, but this is the other way that I actually do the stretch. I actually bring my knee towards me, and then bring the ball of my foot with my arm here, and holding the knee on this side, and then pulling the ball of my foot towards me, basically towards the knee, towards my hand over here. And again, this is a good stretch. This is a good exercise for getting your biceps going as well. I find it's a bit easier to do it that way. I kind of wedge the also wedge the arm like underneath the knee to prevent the knee from completely going down. So giving a bit of a resistance here. And then again, holding it for 30, letting go, and going back into it. And then doing it 3 times, and then going to the opposite side and doing the same thing. So grabbing underneath the knee. And then doing the same thing here. So wedging putting like my bicep, like my elbow crease, I guess, inside the knee and stuff, and then bringing the hand to the ball of my foot and basically bringing the foot up towards where the knee is by bracing the other side, bringing resistance on the other side with my arm here. Again, good little bicep strengthening exercise as well, where you're stretching your Achilles tendon. And yeah, and holding it for 30 seconds, then letting go, and then going back to hold it for 30 seconds. And I'm not holding any of those stretches for 30 seconds, but you can basically put a timer for yourself, either count your Mississippis or set a timer on your phone, or if you have a smart home device type of thing too. So in a nutshell, that's my lower limb stretches that I do every day. So if you have any questions or anything like that, make sure to comment below. Also, if you got anything out of this video, please like and subscribe, and you can also check out the description for any details. And thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.